Morning, sixth grade. Happy Tuesday. Ready for lesson 54. We're doing Power Up L, and you can see it's the first time that we have Power Up or Fact Practice L. So we're taking fractions and we're switching those to decimals. To go from fraction to decimal, it's top in, bottom out. So the top number's in the box, bottom number's outside the box. To switch it to a percent, then it's right twice. So it'll go like this. Half is 0.5, right twice, 50%. This is 0.3 repeating, which is 33 1/3%. 2/3 is 0.6 repeating and 66 2/3%. 1/4 is 0.25, 25%. I'm going to stop writing the percent thing. 3/4 is 0.75 and 75%. 1/5 is 0.2, 20%. 1/8, 0.125 and 12.5%. 1/10 is 0.1, which is 10%, 0.3 and 30%, 0.9 and 90%, 0.01, which would be only 1%, and then this is 1.5, which would be 150%. Okay, almost all of those are in your yellow folder, guys. The other encouragement I'd give you is all of these need to be memorized this year. You obviously, if you have to do top in, bottom out, and do the division, do it so you get it right, but don't just do that work without trying to memorize it. Get it memorized. Okay, the mental math in the next section would read like this. I multiply, I get $18. I divide, slides that decimal left, 1.275. C, if you reduce the 9/6, you get 3/2 times 4 would give you 8. Meters to centimeters times 100 gives you 150 centimeters. Square root of 900 is 30. 3 cubed is 27. 30 minus 27 is 3. Divide by 10 is 9 times 3 is 27. How many different ways can you arrange 5 digits? 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's permutation. 20, 60, 120. That would be G. Mentally perform these calculations. I'm going to add them together. Then I'm going to subtract them, multiply them, and divide them. So I need common denominators, which was 20. So the first one is 15/20. The next one is 8/20. I add them, I get 23/20, which equals 1 3/20. I subtract those, I would get 7/20. I would multiply those. You can cancel the 2 and the 4 to 1 and 2. That would give you 3/10. Stay, change, flip, puts 15 on top and 8 on the bottom, which equals 1 7/8. Okay. The next problem, for problem solving, it says Zelda is older than Frank. So if I have Frank here, I have Zelda here. But it's younger than Juan. So maybe I should put Frank here, Zelda here, and Juan there. Juan is younger than Celia, but is older than Frank. That's definitely true. Frank is older than Gina and Marcos. So somehow I got to get a Gina and a Marcos here. Marcos is younger than Celia and Gina. So I did that wrong. See, I wrote Gina and Marcos, but now it just told me Marcos is younger than Gina. So it's got to go Marcos then Gina. Who is the oldest? Celia. Who is the youngest? Marcos. So as best you can, guys, it's just using the clues, and half those clues were meaningless. Like it said Marcos is younger than Celia. Well, of course Marcos is younger than Celia if they're way down here, but you got to keep using those clues. How I got these two, I didn't know the order to that last clue. So sometimes it helps to leave space. Sometimes as you're doing it, you might have to scribble out and move them closer together, but I could have rattled off all of them from Marcos to Gino to Frank to Zelda to Juan to Celia. We could do the whole list, just steps to completion. Okay, guys, yesterday you were working with ratio boxes, creating those little 2x2s. Today's lesson says this. In lesson 53, we solved ratio problems by using proportions. We can solve rate problems in the exact same way. So that's your introduction. Number 1 says, if Mr. Gomez drives a car at 55 miles per hour, how far will he drive in 3 hours? Now, guys, you do what you want. Most of us, I think, would say we're going 55 in 3 hours. I'm just going to multiply those things and get 165 miles per hour. What they're saying is another option is doing what we did last time. I'm going 55 miles in an hour. How far will I go in 3 times 3 times 3, and I get 165 miles. Okay, this one I think is probably what you're used to. This one is a new thing that we're working with ratio boxes. It's another option for you guys that you can use to try to do it. Example 2 says, Mrs. Aikida's car averages 24 miles per gallon. Then about how many gallons of gas could she do for a 300 trip? So you can see the box they put up there, guys. It's just if I'm going 24 in 1 gallon, how many gallons is it going to take to get 300? And I'm just going to do that through division. Now, if you were looking very carefully, it said about. That might have made some of you round. I'm just going to put 24 in there. That gives me a 1. That gives me a 24, a 6. That gives me 2, 48, 12, decimal 0, 0, 24 goes in there, 5. So it would take about 12.5 gallons. Could have solved that through cross multiplication, multiply, and then divide. That's how I know I need to divide it. Okay, example 3 says, Hannah works for 8 hours at a sporting goods store and earns a total of 68. What is her hourly rate? So this one is going backwards, guys. I have $68 in 8 hours. I'm going to divide it out. That goes 8. That's 64. That's a 4. Decimal, 0, 0. Goes in there 5. I need to make it look like money, guys, so I have to add that 0. She gets paid $8.50 an hour. Now B says, okay, so now you know what she gets paid. How much is she going to get paid in 30 hours? So now that turns into a multiplication thing. If you wanted to make ratio boxes with both of those, you can. Don't feel that you have to, guys. So I'm just going to do 850 times 30. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 8.5. And then we're going to slap these 2 zeros on. So 0, 0. Take that times 3 is 15, carry the 1, 24, 25. I got 25. 1, 2 decimal places, 1, 2 decimal places. So she's going to make $255 if she would work 30 hours that week. Ratio boxes would have looked like this. For the first one, she gets paid $8 for 1 hour. She gets paid a total of $68. She works I don't know that one right there. She gets paid something for 1 hour. She works 8 hours. She gets a total of $68. So that's why I did the division to get that. The next ratio box would have said, I know she gets $8.50 an hour for 1 hour. How much is she going to get times 30? So I cross multiply the 30 there. Guys, do what's best for you. I usually don't use ratio boxes for rate questions. I usually just do this division and multiplication. You do what's best for you. If you struggle, should I be multiplying or dividing? The ratio boxes will help you. Okay, you got a few more practices. If you would like a few more practice problems, A through F there, and then we'll get ready to do the problems from the book. Sorry about that. Let's get rolling. 54, number 1. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743. He died on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was 1776. How many years did Thomas Jefferson live? Okay, some of you would be tempted to do 1776 minus 1743 because you want the difference. We can start there, guys. It's fine. I did a 3. I did a 3. And some of you might say he's then 33 years old. But he didn't die in 1776, guys. He died on the 50th anniversary of it. So I need to add that 50 to it and get 83 years. That was one way to solve it. The other thing is you could have done this addition first to figure out what year he died and then subtract it from when he was born. Number 3, the ratio of women to men at the theater, ratio from yesterday's lesson, ratio to actual, of women to men was 5 to 4. If there were 1,200 women, how many men were there? Okay, so you got 2 choices. You could cross multiply and then divide, or you could divide and then multiply. I'm going to divide. goes in there. 2 is 10, 2 is 0, is 4, is 20, is 0, is 0, 0, 240. And then I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to multiply it by the 4. So what I'm doing is I'm reducing this down, guys, by dividing first. The only reason I'm dividing before I multiply is it's smaller for me. So I try to keep the numbers as small as I can. And I get a 9 there. And so there are 960 men. The second thing is explain how you found your answer. I'm just going to write ratio box. They're teaching me how to use ratio boxes. I'm using ratio boxes. 4, what is the cost of $2.6 pounds of cheese at $6.75 per pound? So if it costs $6.75 for one and I have 2.6, it's a multiplication problem. You could have turned that into a ratio box today if you wanted to. 30, carry the 3, 42 is 45, carry the 4, 36 is 40. Add a 0 to move to the next position. 2 times 5, 10, carry the 1, 14, 15, carry the 1, 12, 13. Boom, 0, 5, 5, 7, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That needs to go away. Good news, it's a 0, it goes away. $17.55. Number 10. Write that big, huge decimal number rounded to 4 decimal places. So it's good practice. I have 3.14159. I stop there, guys, because I'm going to 4 decimal places. So I'm here, I'm looking there. 9 goes up, so it's 3.1416. Good. You want extra credit at the top of your page, you write number 10 equals pi. That's the number for pi. Number 12. Turning the page. Find the number of degrees in the central angle of each sector of the circle shown. So this goes back, guys, to what we did in our investigation and breaking it down. So I'm just going to start with 40. I know there's 360 degrees in a thing, and I have 40% of that. I switched it to a decimal. 0, 24, 12, 14, 1 decimal point, 1 decimal point, it's gone. A is 144 degrees. B is 30 degrees. Same concept. I'm taking 360 and I'm timesing it by 3. 0, 18, carry the 1, 10, 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. B is 108 degrees. C, 360, 0 times 0.2 degrees. 0, 12, 7, 1, 1. C is 72 degrees. D times 1 chops off that 0 is 36 degrees. I would take those and add them all up. It would add up to 360, guys. Number 13. Which expression is equivalent to that? I have 2 to the 6th power over 2 to the 2nd power. When I'm dividing, I subtract exponents. 2 to the 4th power. That would give me the answer of B. Number 14. The figure below, answer questions 14 and 15. Dimensions are in centimeters, angles are right. What is the perimeter? Okay, guys, this is the next crazy shape we're after. Filling in the blanks, they gave me a 5, they gave me an 8, they gave me a 3, they gave me a 5, they gave me a 6, they gave me a 9. I got work to do because I need to figure out some pieces. So here's what I did, guys. I took the left side, which equals 5 and 3. That's 8. I took the right side. It equals 6 and I don't know what else adds up to 8. So 8 minus 6 gives me a 2. Do the same thing with the top. On the top, I have a 5 and an 8. That is 13. On the bottom, I need a 9 and a what to equal 13. So 13 minus 9 is 4. Now I have all my numbers, guys. To find 14, the perimeter, I'm just going to go in a circle. 5, 13, 16, 21, 27, 36, 37, 38, 42. So for 14, I have 42, and we're working with centimeters. Okay, 15 says find the area of that thing. This is going to take some work, guys, depending on how you chop it. So if I go, let's say this right here. I know this guy down here is 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to chop it up here. I know this is 3 times 5 is 15. Now, I have to figure out what this is here. That takes work, guys. It's not this 5. This whole thing was 5, but I already used 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. Now, how long is this? I need to put this piece with this piece, or this piece with this piece. Whether you add 4 and 9 or 8 and 5, you get a 13. 3 times 13 is 39. Now I have to take my 3 pieces and put them together. So I have 15, 39, and 8. And I add them all up. 14, 22, carry the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I get 62 centimeters squared. Okay, that one, there's just nothing easy about it, guys. You just got to keep having the vision on how we're doing those and working your way through it. Number 16, it says name each property. For A, guys, you're adding plus 0. That keeps half as a half. The answer stayed the same. That's identity. We've normally been using identity with multiplication. That's identity of addition. B, 5, 6, 7. I distributed that 5 through. The parentheses went away. That's the distributive property. C, 5 plus 6 in parentheses plus 4 equals 5 plus 6 plus 4. I changed the parentheses. That's the associative property. D, 5 times 3/5 times 5/3 equals 1. It equals 1, guys, multiplying by the flip, multiplying by the inverse property. So that's the 4 properties we know minus a cumulative property. Keep those things in mind and keep practicing those things. 18. The box and whisker plot below was created from scores, number of correct out of 20, on a sports trivia quiz. Do you think that the average score is likely to be above, at, or below the median score? So here's my box and whisker plot. It looks something like this. Okay, so guys, remember, this is the lowest score here. This is the highest score here. This is 1/4. This is 1/2, 3/4 full. So 1/4 of the sports trivia people scored there, 1/4 scored there, 1/4 scored there, and 1/4 scored there. So what you're saying is, hey, this half is way bigger than this half. So the question is, do you think this middle score is, if I find the 10 averages, going to be less than the average or more than the average? So do I think the average is going to be below the median? Yes, guys, it's going to be below it because I have 10 scores that are in a bigger area. So when I add these 10 scores together plus these 10 scores, which are closer together, the average is going to put me right about there. Remember, average wants the middle of the whole thing. This is just 10 and 10. So it's going to be below because that balances the scale out. Okay, so that's interpreting scores, which tells me if I was looking at this test score, I'd say some kids really scored really bad. Here's where the bottom 10 scored to here. The top 10 all scored really close, but I had a big spread down there. Awesome. 21. I have 24 over R equals 36. Divide by 9 is 4. Divide by 9 is 3. How'd I get here? Times 6. Times 6 gives me 18. 23. I'm going to do the math as I do it. 11 squared is 121. Plus 1 cubed is 1. Minus the square root of 121 is 11. So add together, 122 minus 11, 111. 24. Writing it out goes 24 minus 4 times 5 divided by 2 plus 5. Notice the multiplication and division. So 24 stays minus the math. 20 divided by 2 is 10 plus 5. 14 plus 5 is 19. That was 24, cruising to 26. 26 says 1 week plus 5 days plus 14 hours, 2 weeks, 6 days, 10 hours. Add together gives me 24. I know there's 24 hours in a day, so I add it up. 1 plus 5 plus 6 is 12. I know there's 7 days in a week, so I divide by 7. That gives me 1, and I'm left with 5 days left over. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. So I had 4 weeks and 5 days. 27. Step 1, I'm going to subtract. 9 and 1/2 minus 6 and 2/3. Common denominators are 6's. So times 3 over 3 gives me 3/6. Times 2 over 2 gives me 4/6. Can't do that subtraction. So I'm bringing over a 6. I'm adding to the 3, gives me a 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. 6's stay the same. 8 minus 6 is 2. Taking that answer and adding it to my 3 5/10. And 2 5/6. Common denominators are 30. What do I have here? 5/10. Okay, I'm going to not do 30. I'm going to reduce this to a half, guys. So now this can stay the same. This is 3/6 plus 2/6 equals 8/6. 8/6 simplifies to 1 2/6. 2/6 reduces to 1/3. Whole numbers add together gives me 6 1/3. So instead of going up to the 30 here, guys, I just reduced that one so I didn't have such big numbers to work with. Okay?